In this tutorial, we will have a look how we can play enemy attack animation clip. As you can see, when the enemy is too much close to our player game object, indeed enemy is playing attack animation clip. And once we get a little bit further away, enemy playing run animation clip. Okay, if you haven't watched the first video, I have a link in the description. You can go ahead and check that out. Okay, so without further delay, let's dive into this topic. Once we too much close to this enemy game object, okay, this enemy game object should play the attack animation clip. Okay, so we have all of the animation. If I select this enemy game object in hierarchy and move over to animator tab, as you can see, we have three animation clip: run, idle, and the attack one. Okay, so we moving over to run animation clip once this player game object inside this sphere or this attack range. So this enemy is just playing this run animation clip. Okay, so from run we need to make attack and attack transition. Okay, once we are too much close to this enemy game object, we just stopping. Okay, and we just playing the running animation clip of this enemy game object again and again. Instead of doing that, we just have to play this attack animation clip. So basically we need to make transition from run to attack once this player game object is too much close to this enemy game object. Okay, so let's do that. So right click on run and make transition to attack, and we have to choose, let's select this arrow, and we're gonna untake this as exit time. As soon as player is too much close to enemy game object, this enemy should play attack animation clip. So that's why we untake this as exit time, and we're gonna choose transition duration to 0. We just wanna go immediately, and in the bottom we have to choose a condition, in which condition we want to go. So basically we need to set some certain parameters, okay, to go in that attack animation clip. So select so move over to animator tab. In the left side you can see parameters, so hit this plus icon, so and hit this bool. Okay, and we have to name it the bool. Let's call it attack. Okay, and we're gonna choose this if this attack parameter is true, basically checked means true. Okay, then we're gonna move over to this attack animation clip of zombie. Okay, so as you can see, condition which says list is empty, so hit this plus icon. So we're gonna choose this attack condition and we will set it to true. And if we set this attack parameter is true, okay, this parameter, so it will move over to this attack animation clip. So we also need to go back to run animation clip once the player is not too much close. In that situation, this enemy should chase our player. This enemy should play chase animation or the run animation clip instead of attack. So we also need to go back to run animation clip, or else we will stuck forever in attack animation clip. Okay, so right click on attack animation clip and make transition back to run. Okay, and hit this plus icon, and we need to choose some certain condition to go to run animation clip. So we're gonna untake this as exit time. As soon as player is not too much close, then it should play run animation clip right away. So that's why we untake exit time, and we're gonna set transition duration to 0. We're gonna go immediately and scroll down bottom, and we need to choose some certain condition, in which condition we want to go. So we gonna set this attack parameter to false or uncheck, and if it's unchecked, so we're gonna move over to this run animation clip, or we should play run animation clip of enemy. Okay, so hit this plus icon, and we're gonna choose this attack, and we want to set this attack parameter to false. And if we set this attack parameter false, so it will move over to this run animation clip right away. And we also want to choose a second condition, which we want to set this in range parameter to true. And we don't know, if we set this in range parameter to true, it will play this run animation clip right away, from idle to run or attack to run. So we gonna choose second condition, this in range, and we wanna set this to true. And if we set this to true, then it will play the run animation clip of enemy game object. Okay, so hit this plus icon. As a second argument, we're gonna choose this in range, and we're gonna set it to true. Okay, so basically we need to set this both of this condition so it will play. So now if we set this so I'm gonna go to console and let's clear it. Let's select this animator and this enemy game object. Okay, and now if I hit this play button and try to set these parameters manually by checking them on and off, basically setting them true or false, we're gonna able to see this animation will be just animation will be played, okay, according to what we're doing. So I'm gonna get close to our enemy game object to see. As you can see, enemy is too much close now, so enemy should play the attack animation clip instead of this running, as you can see. So basically what we have to do, we need to set this attack parameter is true, basically check. So as you can see, if we set this to true, we can able to see, if I select this enemy game object, as you can see, indeed our enemy game object is playing attack animation clip over again and again. And if I set this attack parameter to false manually, so as you can see, indeed running animation clip is now playing. Okay, so basically we need to set this attack parameter to true or false, and also this in range through our code. Okay, so I'm gonna unplay this now, and if we select this enemy game object, move over to inspector, and if we move over to nav mesh agent, we can see we just stopping our enemy game object at 3 unit. Okay, so if I hit this play button one more time, you're gonna able to see that enemy just stopping at a certain amount. Okay, once the player get too much close, it's not enemy is not to basically not getting too much close. As you can see, we basically stopping right over here. So right over here, basically the distance between them is becomes 3 unit. So that's why as a stopping distance we have chosen 3. So in this distance, what we're gonna do, we're gonna check if our player game object, okay, this our player game object and this enemy game object, if the distance between them, okay, if it's lesser than or equal to this stopping distance, mean enemy is too much close to our player game object. So in that situation, enemy should play attack animation clip instead of running. Okay, so that is the case. So let's open up our enemy script by double clicking on it. So we have animator component reference, as you can see. If you don't have it, just type public animator and drag it the animator component right over here, okay, in animator section. So we already have the reference, so we're gonna move over to here. Okay, so we're gonna check the distance between them. So we have to type if. So firstly we checking if in attack range, basically if this player game object inside this sphere. Okay, so what we doing, so in that situation we just chasing our player. Okay, as you can see, agent dot set destination. Okay, and over there we're gonna check, and now we're gonna check. So we have to type this vector 3, okay, sorry, not vector 2, vector 3 dot distance. Basically this function right over here, vector 3 dot distance, will compare a distance between player and game object. Okay, so as a first argument, I'm gonna pass our own position, transform dot position. Basically right over here means play enemy own position. Okay, and a second position we're gonna pass player dot position. So we gonna check the distance between our enemy and player. If the distance between them, if it's lesser than, okay, if it's lesser than or equal to agent dot stopping distance, okay, stopping distance, make first bracket and make some curly brackets. Basically what we doing right over here, so vector 3 dot distance function will take two position and it will compare between them. So transform dot position right over here, enemy position, and we have player position, as you can see. So if the distance between them, if it's lesser than or equal to agent dot stop distance, basically we just moving over to this nav mesh agent, then accessing this stop distance, which is 3. So basically if the distance between our enemy and player, if it's lesser than or equal to 3, or this agent dot stopping distance, so in that situation we do know now player enemy basically is too much close to our player game object. So in that situation we need to play that attack animation clip. So basically we have to move over to that animator. Okay, animator dot set bool. Okay, set bool function we have to use, and we know as a first argument it will take in quotation the parameter name, which in our case this attack. Okay, so let's pass as we did right in our animator tab. We have to spell it correctly. Okay, and we have to set the value. So we're gonna set it to true, and we do know, and close that off with semicolon, and we do know if we set this is this attack parameter to true, so this enemy game object will play the attack animation clip, basically zombie attack animation clip right away. Okay, so and we're gonna check if the distance between is not lesser than or equal to agent dot stopping distance. Basically enemy game object is not too much close our player game object. So in that situation this enemy game object should chase our player. Basically this enemy should play run animation clip if the distance between them, if it's not lesser than or equal to stopping distance. Basically if the enemy game object is not too much close to player game object, in that situation we need to play run animation clip. So basically we need to set this attack parameter to false. Why? So if we select this back transition, as you can see we have chosen that condition. Okay, so firstly we have to set this attack to false and in range parameter to true. So that so we're gonna move over to this run animation clip of enemy. So we need to set these parameters, okay, through our code. Firstly we need to set this attack to false. As you can see we have chosen that condition to go to run animation clip as well as in range parameter to true. Okay, so let's go to script. So else if the distance between them, if it's not or lesser than or equal to stopping distance, basically means enemy is little bit away from our player game object. So in that situation enemy should chase, basically enemy should play run animation clip. So let's copy this line of code, control C. So we're gonna paste it inside this else. So and we're gonna set this attack parameter to false. Okay, false, and we're gonna paste it one more time in the down, and in this parameter we're gonna pass this in range as the second argument we have chosen. Okay, so we have to spell it correct, which is in range, as you can see right over here. So let's pass right over here in range. Okay, and we're gonna set it to true, and if we set it in range parameter to true and attack parameter to false, then we're gonna move over to this run animation clip right away after playing the attack animation clip. Okay, so whatever you have done now, control S to save your code, and let's move to Unity. Now we should able to see once the enemy game object is not too much close to our player, then this enemy game object gonna play this run animation clip instead of attack, because we have chosen that condition. Okay, so let's hit this play button in the top and let's check that out if it's working correctly or not. Okay, so let's check that out quickly. So let's get closer to enemy game object. As you can see enemy indeed playing running animation clip, and if we just get a little bit further away this enemy game object, as you can see enemy game object playing running animation clip right away instead of attack, as you can see. Okay, so what's basically happening right over here, let me explain. So if I select this player game object and if to focus on it, so the distance between, firstly checking if the distance between our this enemy and the player, if the distance between them is lesser than or equal to stopping distance, which is 3, as you can see. So the distance between enemy and player, if it's lesser than or equal to 3, in that situation what we doing, we just playing the attack animation clip. So basically we just moving over to this attack animation clip. As you can see we just setting that attack parameter to true, and we know if we set this attack parameter to true, this one, so it will play this attack animation clip. And once the distance between our this enemy and player is not equal to lesser than or equal to stopping distance, or this 3 basically, so in that situation what we doing, we setting that attack parameter to false, and as second argument we chose and in range parameter to true. So we just moving over to this run animation clip because we have chosen both of those condition, as you can see right over here. Firstly, we setting this attack to false, and then second condition in range to true. And we do know if we set this through our code, once the enemy and player is the distance between is not lesser than or equal to stopping distance or 3, so we're just going back to this run. Okay, so that is the basically that's happening. Okay, once we get away, sorry, we just fall down. So I'm gonna play one more time to explain you, okay, to have a look what we actually doing. Okay, so let's take a one more time a look. Okay, so let's get closer. As you can see, enemy is playing attack. Now if I get away a little bit further, indeed enemy is uh, playing our running animation clip. Okay, so I hope you get the idea of it. Okay, and lastly, thanks for watching this video.